Cultivating. You sit down.你挺小心。什么地方的？这边。I see. I see. Each please. New hat. So good. Yes, good.
Today we are pleased to welcome back to Mayo Clinic the 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso. His Holiness is the spiritual leader of Tibet and describes himself as a simple Buddhist monk. To millions around the world he brings hope and peace, and we're honored that he's offered to give a special presentation about resilience through mindfulness to our staff. Dr. Amit Sood will introduce members of the panel, but I also want to offer my welcome and give a few brief remarks. We're pleased to welcome Dr. Daniel Goleman, an internationally recognized psychologist and a board member of the Mind and Life Institute. This group earned well-deserved plaudits for fostering dialogue and research collaborations amongst contemplative practitioners and scientists. Thank you, Dr. Goldman, for being with us today. Carla Peonessa is a principal benefactor of Mayo Clinic who supports the Mind, Body, Spirit initiative. Carla is a member of the Mayo Clinic Leadership Council in Arizona. As always, Carla, welcome to Mayo Clinic. Sherry Chesick is a nursing education specialist here at Mayo. She will share her powerful story of being the parent of a sick child and how she used resilience through mindfulness to manage the long and difficult journey. Dr. Amit Sood is a well-recognized leader in mindfulness and resilience who has authored 2 books on the topic and spearheaded efforts to develop innovative practice models and integrate them into clinical practice at Mayo Clinic. As you know well, Mayo Clinic places an emphasis on integrative medicine. We recognize the importance of stress management, resilience training, acupuncture, and meditation to improve the health of our patients. Mayo Clinic physicians conduct dozens of clinical studies every year to learn which integrative medicine, or what some might call complementary and alternative treatments, which ones work, and share that information with our patients and our colleagues. By identifying effective therapies and helping bring them into clinical practice, physicians in the complementary and integrative medicine program help Mayo Clinic maintain its leadership position in providing excellent patient health, mind, body, and spirit. On behalf of Mayo Clinic, thank you to His Holiness and the esteemed members of our panel for your participation in this very special event. We look forward to an enlightening discussion. I'd now like to welcome Dr. Amit Sood to the podium and thank him for his leadership in this very important area of medicine. Dr. Sood.
Thank you, Dr. Noseworthy. Your Holiness and dear friends, we humbly and heartfully welcome you here at Mayo Clinic. We are extremely, extremely grateful for the precious gift of your time and presence. As you know, the theme here today is resilience through mindfulness. Resilience is our ability to withstand and bounce back from adversity. It is our ability to maintain attention, judgment, and decision making in the midst of stress. It is our ability to have a higher meaning and altruistic purpose to life, and also to balance our fear and optimism. I must confess, Your Holiness, taking the podium in your presence is testing my resilience today. When you came here in 2008, we had begun to develop a resilience training program. Our basic tenet was that cultivating higher principles of gratitude, compassion, and forgiveness, which are the essence of morality, combined with acceptance and higher meaning in life, which is wisdom, sprinkled with a little bit of attention training, will enhance people's resilience. I'm grateful to report and very glad to report to you, Your Holiness, that that is indeed what we have found in pilot research studies and in clinical practice. We find people's resilience going up with cultivating these practices. We touch about 20,000 people every year now with our resilience program. Inspired and empowered by Dr. Noseworthy's vision, we hope to share this program with a very large audience in the coming years. Now, to switch gears a little bit, we come back to our panel. I've read in His Holiness's writings, that whenever he goes to a new place, he visits there as if he's meeting new friends, making new friends, meeting new people. So we have your two new friends in the panel. We have Carla Panessa, who's a founder partner of Accenture, part of our leader here at Mayo. Just one line about Carla. Carla's life's work is to remind people how good they are. We have Sherry Chisek, who is an esteemed nurse, very well-respected nurse in Simulation Center. Sherry's life work is to embody God's compassion and love and be a conduit for that. And then we have your old friend, Dr. Daniel Goleman, whose name has become immortal by his seminal work on emotional intelligence. I think as long as there will be emotion, there will be a name Goleman associated with it. May I now invite Dr. Goleman to go to the next step, please.
Sure. Your Holiness, as Amitsu has said, today's subject is resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity, difficulty. And our old friend, Richie Davidson, has done some research suggesting that there are some brain circuits involved in this, particularly the ability to stay positive, to have a positive outlook no matter what happens. And he finds that people who are able to be more resilient have this ability to sustain positivity. And you've talked about this in many ways. Certainly your life exemplifies never giving up. There's this one powerful line from you that actually is now being repeated everywhere. You see it on the internet, you see it on posters. Never give up. No matter what's going on, never give up. Develop the heart. Be compassionate, just not to your friends, but to everyone. Be compassionate. Work for peace in your heart and in the world. Work for peace, and I say again, never give up. No matter what is happening, no matter what's going on around you, never give up. And so many people find that inspiring, and certainly your example over decades now with Tibet and China, and of course more recently Aung Suu Kyi embodies this in her persistence in the face of adversity. My question for you is, I found it intriguing that you talk about compassion in this context. What connection do you see between compassion and this attitude of never giving up?
I usually tell him, what's the enthusiasm, not just sort of blind faith or stubbornness, right? the enthusiasm must go with intelligence, knowing the truth, knowing the object or the reality. Through sort of investigation, object which you wish but really impossible, then better to not effort. 다분이네 줍도 먼저 딱제체스 먼저는 당연히 유셔스 세다더라.
So there's an instruction in the Buddhist text which says that right at the beginning when you're pursuing something, it's very important to examine whether what you are trying to achieve is really realistic or not. Is it a realistic goal? And if it is not, then it's better right from the beginning not to pursue it.
So, of course, I mean, there is some kind of illusion. I remember one time in Potala, my tutor, Limche, you see, came to give me lesson. And when he sort of leaving, and beside door, one big glass, the shelter,
It's a mirror.
Oh.
Mirror.
So my tutor, a little bit, some effort, the showed those, Kasure, Shabunyagatage.
So he walked towards the mirror.
He felt that's the door. So he made, I think a few seconds, he made some effort. Then I feel laugh. And then I request, with respect, this is not the door, this is the mirror. So, our approach must be realistic. In order to carry realistic approach, we must know the reality. In order to see the reality, our mind must be calm. Then we can look the reality objectively. So now, in order to develop calm mind, now compassion, very important role. Compassion means open mind. Compassion or sense of concern of others' well-being, then usually fear or some kind of negative things develop due to others. So
in relation to others.
The real basis of these fear and suspicion or some other sort of
pretense.
All these, you see, due to others. So once you develop genuine sense of closeness feeling, genuine sort of feeling of human brothers sisters, then that reduces fear, distrust, right? And then pretense.
Then there is no room for pretense.
If you get some suspicion, then of course, even if you do not know, but pretend I know fully. What use? Silly. So compassion creates some kind of open our heart, and then everyone bring together. So that is the mental university system. Go like that way. Fear, anger, hatred narrow your mind. More sense of concern of others' well-being, open our mind. That's, I think, connection. I feel like that.
Thank you.
No, that is get away. Enthusiasm and compassion. I think sometimes enthusiasm may come stronger than hatred. I mean from hatred, anger, full of hatred, much more enthusiasm to destroy that. Isn't it?
It's interesting that you say this. One thing I didn't mention, Richie's finding was that this circuitry for positive attitude in the face of adversity, if you just with 2 weeks of compassion training, it gets stronger. And this brings us to the remarkable program they have here at Mayo that Dr. Amit Sood has developed. He's going to tell you more about it and also have you meet some people who have gone through the program. Compassion is one of many ways in which they help people get stronger in resilience. Dr. Sood?
Holiness, we developed this program where the 3 core skills that we teach to our colleagues and medical students also is compassion, gratitude, and forgiveness. Those are the 3 essentials of morality. We support that with acceptance, which is ability to see things as they are and to the depth that is conducive to their understanding, and a higher meaning in life. And
meaning.
who we are, why do we exist, what is this world? And along with that, we also train people's attention. We have many wonderful role models across the world who have embodied this resilience, such as Helen Keller, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, Gandhi. We also include you in that. My question to you is, you always maintain this gentle, calm disposition despite so many ups and downs that you have seen in life. How do you do that? How do you remain so resilient? And what can we learn from it?
Gentleness, not necessarily always. Occasionally, also my emotion burst. There's some harsh word. I think mainly, realistic approach. I never attempt something which we wish to materialize, but something is beyond the realistic sort of the goal. Then not attempt, but then analyze this much you can achieve. Then make sort of the effort. Good to the son. So then also I think Shanda there was sort of the advice when we face some problem, analyze that situation. If it is something overcome, then no reason feel sad. If there is no way to overcome, then no use feeling sad. That's very helpful. So this also is a realistic approach, not according to your own wish, but look the situation. That immense help. Then most important, another important factor is your own motivation. Must be sincere, clear. Then, whether you see the goal or materialize or not, as far as your own motivation is very sincere, meant for benefit for more people, or others. So then, if you success, very good, very happy. Even not success, you can tell yourself, yes, as far as my motivation is concerned, very sincere, no regret. Like that.
You describe in your writings, you describe story of a monk who, after decades of being in prison and potentially tortured, came to you and said he was in real danger a couple of times, and in real danger of losing compassion, not danger for life. Have you been in real danger like that? And how have you overcome that, losing compassion?
Well, if I'm his sort of position, I don't know whether I have that kind of ability. I really don't know. But usually, now one example, after 2008 crisis, that's actually 10th March 2008, in Tibet. Morning, we carry our traditional annual sort of commemoration of the 10th March crisis. So then, afternoon, I received one information. In Lhasa, some people are moving for demonstrations. Then immediately, I developed much of anxiety and feeling of hopelessness, which I developed 1959, 10th March. Same. Then the next few days, or even I think few weeks, even today, I visualize those Chinese authorities who make a decision on the spot, and also some leaders, visualize them, and develop some kind of genuine sense of concern on their well-being. Actually, you see, these people, like everyone, they want good name. These sort of action actually very much damaging on their natural mental state. I think they may not do these things, but out of negative emotion, they engage such sort of action. So there is sort of sufficient reasons feel sense of concern of their own well-being. So develop some kind of compassion, and then this practice, take and give. Take here means their suspicion, their anger. Take in me, and give my sort of spirit of forgiveness and compassion and patience, give them. So that practice, in the external situation, no way to help. But for my own mental state, calm mind, that kind of practice is very, very essential, very helpful, very helpful. So, like that. That also is some physical pain. Another example, when I developed some very serious pain about the intestine. At that day, I was in near Bodh Gaya, one of the poorest Indian state. So when I passing through, because of car, little bit, through villages, many poor people, many poor children, no shoe, just picking up some sort of, what's it there?
Rubbish.
Because that, and
there were a lot of children without shoes, picking up fuels like cow dungs and pieces of wood.
So it clearly shows no opportunity for study, school, just they helping their own family like that. Very poor. Then, when I reaching the state capital, one old person lay down on
a cot, on a bed.
Looks sick person. Condition is very poor. His has sort of condition clearly shows no one taking care. So I feel very, very sad. Then when I reach my hotel, that whole sort of night reflect these things. So some sort of sense of concern of these well-being, it actually forget my own physical illness. Mentally, physically, feeling there, but mentally somehow reduce like that. Then I feel I am very, very fortunate. A lot of people taking care. So mental state, physical pain, yes, not much change with mental state. But mental sort of anxiety, mental level anxiety and pains, sort of different sort of views certainly reduce.
Attitude.
Certain sort of attitude, mental level, certainly sort of reduce, immediately reduce, like that. So, and that some way subdue physical pain, like that. So therefore, according to my own experience, the mental state is very, very important for peace of mind, through that way, joyful sort of days and nights, like that. So for Buddhists, we practice that certain aim, Buddhahood. But that practice also it can be adopted for everybody. Our Christian brothers and sisters also can practice that. I really impressed the Mother Teresa and her follower, truly dedicated to the well-being of poorer section of people, needy people, helpless people. So they themselves, because of carrying some difficult sort of experiences, hardship, but very happy. And then even non-believer, this kind of thinking is helpful to maintain inner peace. So that I usually call. You come from India or?
India.
Oh, then my guru. I always refer Indians, historically our guru. So the Indian situation. So India, I think over 3,000 years, the concept of secularism. Of course, respect all religions. At the same time, also respect non-believer. You know, I think you may heard, you must be heard, the Dr. Advani.
L.K. Advani.
L.K. Advani. One time, the former Deputy Prime Minister, I think he may practice some of these inner training. His physical, I think around 80 years old, but his physical is very straight, and when he walks,
Very fit.
very so
Fit.
except his head completely bald.
No.
But shining. like your head. So once he told me, on a sort of casual sort of conversation, he told me the Charvaka, one school of thought, is denying existence of any value of spirituality, only sort of day-to-day life. Very, very sort of nihilistic sort of view. So he told me, rest of the Indian sort of spiritual tradition, spiritual sort of traditions, school of thought, criticize that. Sometimes it's condemn But the person who holds that view refer Rishi. Rishi means sage, so respect. So in India, 1,000 years, there's tradition, respect, non-believer. So on that basis, secularism developed. Equal, believer or non-believer. Within the believer, this belief, that belief, no differences, no preference, respect all. So the secular way, secular sort of ethics, now these things, doesn't matter whether belief is some sort of deeper meaning or not. And day-to-day life, it's a peace of mind. It's actually immense help. That I always tell you. So my practice, my case, a combination with Buddhist practice. But that can be essentially can be separate. Beside sort of involvement, some of the Buddhist idea, leave it, then simply using our brain properly, okay. So I think you practice that, very good. Teaching, right? Teaching, very good. So may I say so, you are young, so you should learn more Indian traditions. I think there are plenty of sort of the resources. I feel. You come from which? Your ancestor. Where you born?
In central India, Bhopal.
Bhopal, huh?
Near Sanchi.
So this center between north and south. Why I ask that? You see, most of the I think even Shankaracharya, ancient time, very brilliant sort of mind, philosopher, logician, as well as Buddhist, let's say the counterpart. Right? Most of them come from South India. So I usually teaching them, South Indian brain is something very special. So you are between there. Good? Sorry. I always talk like that way. You see, no formality. So don't feel I'm ignoring you. I just talking. Sorry. Yes.
So I think Amit actually may have something more to tell you, but also Carla, who's gone through the program, wanted to share with you her experience. Please.
Yes, I had the privilege of studying with Dr. Sood in his course, and it changed my life. I found that I became less nervous, I was less stressed, less critical of me and others, and we took our children through the course as well to help them. But I come from business, and in business, everyone's not compassionate. Competitors want to destroy you. If you have a medical piece of equipment that malfunctions, people want to sue you. If you want to do good, you're misrepresented or prevented. And so my question to you, Your Holiness, is how do we grow compassion in the other? We grow it in ourselves, we try, but how do we grow it in others?
It's a business field, so to speak. Now, that is the key sort of question. Our society and modern society, modern way of life, very much materialistic way of life. So, I think everybody because of that, pay attention about money, about fame, about external sort of facilities like that. I think ladies also I think pay more attention about external beauties, not much pay attention about inner beauty. So that's why it's a lot of problems. So I think whole society, I think, of course, except the religious people, that also is a serious, sincere religious sort of believer. They, of course, they practice faith towards God. So single-pointed sort of faith towards God, reduce, and you totally dedicate it or submit to God. So that actually psychologically reduce self-centered arrogance. So too much self-centered arrogance is the basis of all these negative emotions. So it's not mentioning about these emotions, but they sort of practice more or less the same way, reduce the self-centered sort of ego. And then also, every world religion talks about practice of love, compassion. And with that, someone creates some problems, forgiveness, tolerance. So that also is a reduced self-centered egoism. Take care. More, as I mentioned earlier, some of these practitioners, Christian practitioners, really is taking care more about others' well-being rather than their own interest, easy life, like that. So, besides that, generally, we just pay more attention about money, about material facilities. That also is not necessarily, I think, deliberately do that. I think ignorance. Do not know what is the real source of insight. This is my feeling. Young age children, I think they may do, their case, I think these basic human values still more alive. So that need, isn't it? The relation between parent and also within their family members. For their own survival, it is very, very sort of crucial. Crucial factor, some kind of sort of genuine human sort of feeling. Then grown up, our education, not talking importance of these things, just the education system is oriented about materialism. I think that's reason. So ordinary people don't care about our emotions. They take for granted. It's part of our mind, isn't it? Like that. So therefore, we need, I strongly feel, and always I'm telling people, we need some way, some form of secular way approaching the promotion of these values, mainly through education, to educate, make more awareness people. So through that means not overnight change. You mentioned problem, still remain.
Yeah.
Another, I think, 1 decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, I think, still remain there.
Yes.
So then we will reach heaven.
Good.
So the younger generation, I think, if presence of the generation, you see, give them sort of complete sort of holistic sort of education, not only taking care about the material benefit, but also inner values. Then perhaps after a few decades, new generation, more wiser, not only talking money or power, but also is talking about the inner values, whether believer or non-believer, everybody, through education, some knowledge about our inner value. Then, I think whole society, in every field, the education field, economic field, political field, or business field, or everywhere, the person who carry their profession with sense of sort of responsibility, sense of oneness of humanity, sense of global responsibility, then everything becomes more constructive. Of course, we need these different professions. But person who carry these professions, they hear something too much self-centered sort of thinking and narrow-minded, selfish, then even in religion, you see, telling religion is marvelous things. But the preacher himself or herself, very much self-centered attitude. Then eventually people will laugh. Oh, you are telling nice things, but your own sort of day-to-day life, not according to that. Then who will listen? So sometimes I think if religion may become the method or the education, how to carry hypocrisy, saying nice things, doing something different. So I'm a religious person, so I think not much danger criticize about religion. Yes.
Sherry, do you want to go?
So we have to think, you see, I think in education field, some kind of fundamental change. Change the materialistic education, because of banning materialistic education, not that way. Beside materialistic sort of the education, it is necessary. Simple reason, we have this, as we already mentioned, this body and this mind. So for healthy body, taking care of this body, we need material facilities. So we need these sort of education or knowledge for the development. And furthermore, on this planet, so many poor people there. Still we need more money. So I think it is really positive sort of the development. Some of these big kinds of multinational company, they are more and more willing to share some of their profit to some kinds of the poorer sector. That's, I think, very, very good sign. So in any way, still we need more money. 7 billion human beings. I think at least 1/4 of that population, I think, still remain
very
poor. That also is not only morally wrong, but practically also source of problem. So we need further material development, but at the same time, not neglect about our people.
Yes, yes.
I think the excellent work of John Kabat-Zinn, Richie, and mine in life is accomplishing that to a great extent, and we hope to further that here. May I now invite Sherry to share her perspective?
So about 2.5 years ago, my daughter was 5 at the time. She had just started kindergarten and suddenly was complaining of headaches and stomach aches and various symptoms, and we took her in to be evaluated here at Mayo and found out that she had a cancerous tumor behind her right eye that was inoperable. There was fingers going in many different directions, so they couldn't go in to take it out surgically. And so it was a very difficult time for us. We learned that she'd have to have about a year of treatment, chemotherapy and radiation. And so it took our family to a very dark place and really made me question my faith. I had a faith in God prior to that happening, but then had a difficult time through that, wondering how I could have faith and fully believe that whatever happened, I would be okay with. And so it was a very difficult year, and I think the most difficult thing that a parent can do is to watch their child suffer. And I would have rather have taken on the pain myself than to watch her suffer, and so that was the most difficult part. However, through that suffering and through that process, I learned more about, that's what drew me to learning more about mindfulness. And not just mindfulness, but also connected with Dr. Sood and took his course and learned about practicing those higher spiritual principles, which really fit well with my Christian worldview, and it just really that really drew me in. And so it really brought me a lot of peace in a very difficult time. And I'm happy to say that my daughter's doing well. She finished her treatment a year and a half ago now, and so she's okay so far. Now, through that time, I was exposed to a lot of children that were suffering and experienced compassion fatigue. We were staying at Ronald McDonald House at one point and just seeing many children who were suffering and worse off than my child. You almost feel guilty. And so my question for you, Your Holiness, is although I found help through mindfulness, I still sometimes find myself going back to that. And how do you deal with compassion fatigue?
그래서 라는 거네. Compassion, a sense of concern. There are different sort of kinds. One, simply concern about their pains or suffering. With the combination of wisdom, there also is a tendency to overcome that suffering.
Wanting to do something, wanting to help.
So
this is a state of compassion where you're not simply stuck in the awareness of the other's suffering, but moving on to another level, which is wanting to, do something and help.
Okay.
So that's why I think if we look just at the suffering side only, then you may develop hopelessness or reduce sort of your enthusiasm. But thinking another sort of type of compassion, mainly is because of your concern of their well-being, then focusing, overcome that. So that gives you inner strength and self-confidence and give more enthusiasm, more determination. this is chaos. 전적인 인식, 다 점적인 인식 채워도, 닝도 채워주시도.
So there seems to be a real difference in terms of the level of courage on the part of the individual who experiences compassion. At some level, people may experience a compassion, wanting simply to see the other person be relieved from suffering. So that's a kind of one level. But the more courageous form would be, not only that, but also wanting to do something. And that kind of courage makes a big difference.
Okay.
One former Indian minister, I know him. So I met their one son, right from the beginning, that
At physical defect.
No possibility to cure. But his father and mother both really devoted, caring their son. Actually, hopeless. But the years, I think over 30 years, completely devoted, taking care. I really admire their states. How much strong. Maybe some relation with attachment. But anyway, okay. But with attachment, genuine such dedication. Really wonderful. Then also I think near Frankfurt, one school which I visited, the handicapped children's sort of school. I visited there. They invited me and give them some kind of encouragement. No? I actually told there some of the sort of people who are taking care of these handicapped people. If I am in their case, I think within a week I may resign. Really, very difficult. Really, their side, really hopeless. But as a human being, they totally dedicate serving them tirelessly. So these are really wonderful. I think these people, not necessarily religious people, religious-minded, but we human beings, we have that kind of potential is there. Whether we sort of use that potential properly or not, I think every human being has that kind of sort of potential. And naturally, you see, we can see, even during war, you see, two soldiers on human level helping each other. Officially, enemy, worthy to kill. But human level, they helping. I think during Second World War, I had one Greek soldier, I have one picture I have seen. The enemy is a soldier, is dying. The other ones, enemy soldier, taking care. Like that. These are spontaneous sort of human feeling. Even animal, to some extent, they can do. Their companion dying, at least licking. Because we born that way. So everybody have that potential is there, everyone. So that's the source of hope. We born that way. We equipped that potential. So some sort of awareness about the usefulness about that for whole life, whole society, whole family, whole humanity, through education, bring more conviction about that value, then pay some attention about that. That's my view. Isn't it? Like that. I think it's that the 점적인 인식이 그게 된다디.
So this is.
지 강다서 말대비체. that 가를 넣어도 that 대직 탑시죠.
So the point is that we do have, as human beings, the capacity to rise up to this level with the courage and reaching out and wanting to do something, so that we don't get stuck at this initial stage where we feel totally disempowered and helpless.
Your Holiness, you've described your mother as an embodiment of love and compassion. So I have a question from a child, an 8-year-old child, who wants to ask you, when you were chosen to be the 14th Dalai Lama, what did your mother call you after that? Did she call you by your first name, or did she address you as Dalai Lama?
I think both of them actually. 뭐라 봐. 그래서 난 한번 들었어요. 진주가.
She's still called by the personal name, Hamutundu.
I think when we carry some sort of ceremony or formal sort of gathering, then of course my parents respect me, not like their own children, but in our home, yes. I remember my father short temper. So one day in my own official kitchen, no serving pork, fish, egg. So in my home, my father very fond pork. So one day my father used to enjoy pork. I sit next to him like a dog, expecting something. Then my father used to give me some balls,
piece.
very delicious, very good. Then my father, the fat balls, sometimes you see taking care of her sort of mustache, his mustache, like that. So then one day I want to tease him, so pull his mustache. Then he lost his temper and give me blessing, like that. So he do not consider as a Dalai Lama, as his own child. And also my tutor, of course my tutor, they are very realistic, very practical, realistic. So I often is telling people, I think many of you already know, this is when I having sort of lesson or study, class, my tutor kept one whip. At that time, my elder brother and myself, 2 monks carry study. So my tutor kept 2 whips. One whip ordinary, one whip yellow. So suppose that yellow whip is holy whip, meant for holy student, Dalai Lama. But I know that if tutor use holy whip, I do not think any difference of holy pain. So very, very early age, my study, not enthusiasm, not through enthusiasm, but out of fear. So they treated me as sort of official function. They put me on throne, everybody's respect. And when real business, sort of learning, study, caring, they treated me like any other sort of young monk, like that. It's very practical, very good, wonderful.
So you were talking about holy pain. We believe suffering is pain that has no meaning. Every second, 5 children are born on our planet, but mothers don't call it suffering. But no patient passing a kidney stone tells, I love this pain. Everybody hurts because there is no meaning. A lot of patients we see here, they do not have a good meaning for their medical condition, for their suffering. What would be your advice to them? How can they find higher meaning in their suffering?
Then, I think almost nobody, I think, consider some pains are meaningful pain, so deliberately take. If I'm that kind of person, then no reason come to clinic, here, Mayo Clinic. I do not want pain, I do not want illness, so therefore I came here. But now here, point is, it is really worthwhile. Make effort, not occur pains or illness. In spite of your effort, if illness come, then in order to reduce mental sort of level frustration, you look at that pain, helpful to now from us those people who believe now Indian tradition, karma, law of karma, that means the law of causality. If you've done something, wrong thing, then every sort of pain, every suffering must come its own causes. So that causes mainly negative karma, negative action. Karma means action. So you accept now that pain as a result of my own creation. Then that may help. In any way, that now close one chapter of that negative action you already committed. So sooner or later you have to face. that sort of negative karmic result. And then further deeper, as a Buddhist sort of doctrine, Buddhist sort of teaching, Four Noble Truth, suffering nature. So sometimes you see some sort of the scholars or practitioner, some old, they come to see me and ask me, so there are sort of some illness or some sort of pains and seeking blessing on me. And then sometimes I teaching them. Suppose we, Buddhist practitioner, must practice mindfulness about these pains, very nature of these are physical. But since we are not sort of adequate sort of meditation on that, so now physical itself now reminds us, oh, this is very nature is suffering nature. What is the power of oh, that the Yawajo Comotive Cadolia, the Pumbo correcting Nepum, Tangas Pudisura, Nerangshi, Dunga in Das, and so much choice. They just love the
So His Holiness often teases for the senior monks who come to get his blessings so that they can relieve their pain. He used to tease them and tell them that actually as Buddhist practitioners we were supposed to be mindful of our nature of existence as being of suffering. But since we have failed to do this, now the body itself is reminding us of that nature.
So that, you see, pain already happened. Unfortunate things already happened. Then it tried to bring lesson for realization of deeper law of karma. And then also, you see, they realizing very nature of suffering nature, dukkha. So that, I think your case also, you see, some suffering, some problem brought, instead of demoralize, but give you more enthusiasm,
Courage.
more courage. So that's the Buddha's teaching. First, meditation on suffering, dukkha, then causes, then the overcome, possibility of overcome suffering, then the method, how to achieve that. So that's systematic because of that approach. So our ordinary life also, sometimes you see the difficulties or problems may bring more determination, more enthusiasm to overcome that and prevent in future, not only your own case, but others also. Like that. Just like Gyenge Cholisha said.
So there is a Tibetan expression which says that adversities can arise as opportunities. So the expression goes with another one which says misfortunes can be indications of good things to come, and adversities can be turned into opportunities.
I often, you see, telling also, I had the impression, Europeans, and particularly like German, and also Russians, I think in previous century, so they're passing through tremendous difficulties. So destructions through war, something very familiar. So their life toughened. So when opportunity comes, they full of sort of will, full of enthusiasm to rebuild, like Japanese also. I often feel in American, you never sort of experience on your own soil some foreign sort of attack. So September 11th event happened. You really get so shocked. So sometimes life, easy going on, sometimes soften your life. Difficulties harden your life. So look that way. Of course, illness, that is something different. Illness, not necessarily harden your life. I don't know. I don't know. General, unfortunate things is sometimes really soften, harden your life.
Make you tougher.
No, tougher. Like that.
All these are pathways towards resilience, compassion, gratitude, higher meaning. One part we have not covered yet is meditation. And for that, I would like to poll the audience, Your Holiness. How many of you have practiced meditation? So about 60%. My next question is, how many of you have found meditation piece of cake? Very easy. Your Holiness, no.
Raise hand. Few.
No hand went
Then
up.
our choice.
Two. So when you started your meditation practice, did you face difficulties? And if yes,
No.
how did you overcome them?
Meditation, basically, according to Indian tradition, two types. Analytical meditation, analyze. Another kind of meditation is single-pointed meditation. So, analytical meditation, I consider more important, and also my daily sort of life. Analytical meditation always sort of involved. When I passing through some flower, some sort of
Garden. When I see something like a plant,
immediately you see some curiosity. That is good. And one bird in Hawaii, some bird common in Tibet, in northern India, and also South India, and here also, in Okinawa also. Some bird is unique. So if you just carry your eye without helping your mind, and then you saw that, but not much sort of recorded here, with sort of the alert mind. And then analyze with combination memory. So in, of course, my daily practice, analyze the nature of the body, nature of the world, nature of humanity, nature of mind. That always do. So I think, hopefully, some of those scientists who are quite familiar with us many years, I think they notice my mind not dull, my mind quite sharp. So that happened because of analytical meditation. The scientists also, you see, your mind very sharp. So always you see, analyze. So that's one part. The another part, that is, I think, in a way, easy. For certain people, they find the difficulties, but I think generally easy and very necessary in order to know the reality, in order to develop holistic view. Analytical meditation is extremely important. What is happening on one part of the world, not just to look at how it happened. Then due to that, due to that, due to that, due to previous sort of century, due to previous sort of millennium, millennium, like that. So then you get the more holistic sort of views. So it is very, very important. Then single-pointed mind, for me, up to now, impossible. Because you need a lot of time, at least every day, 4, 5, 6 hours, sort of continuously concentrate on it. That my daily sort of prayer, daily analytical meditation, already take 4 or 5 hours. And then some meeting, talk like that. Then I have no sort of willpower to sacrifice my sleep. Every night, 8 hours, 9 hours. Last night, 9 hours. So no sufficient time. So that is my good excuse. I have no sort of experience of shamatha because no time. So now here, I think our daily life,
So the important thing is we shouldn't live our life with no attention, in a completely wandering, distracted way.
I think animal, mainly, you see, rely their life on sensorial level. We have this sort of unique thing about mental sort of capacity to analyze. So I think people, especially those young people, always look television, not analyze. No. And then even sort of examination, just copy. These are superficial. And their whole life, you see, listen to music and look television or watch television. So their whole sort of experience or life is very much based on sort of sensorial level. That is superficial. You must pay more attention about mental levels of experience and must utilize mental level ability to analyze. That immense help to sharpen our mind, also memory increasing. And very important is only through that way, through sensorial, based on just appearances. So there's always a gap, appearance and reality. So the only way to reduce this gap, appearance and reality, is analyzation. So it is unless if you just based on appearances, then then you cannot develop realistic. This one? No. So,
So if we entirely spend our life sort of directed outwards and simply live on the sensory level, then essentially we are leading a life that is total distraction.
So that's, of course, I'm not interfering in your daily life. If you want to spend the whole day look television, if you really love that, okay, you carry that. What?
Our next question is from Cindy, Your Holiness. She is our colleague here. Cindy developed cancer while she was pregnant. And she went through a very rough phase. She recovered, had a healthy baby. Later on, she developed heart failure, and her lungs became filled with fluid. Her face became puffy. Her children actually said, there is a monster here that has taken our mommy's place. We want our mommy back. So it was a very it was a very sad. The good news is that their children got their mommy back. Cindy is a social worker here. She's actually with us today. Can Cindy stand up for us, please? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah. So the question that Cindy is asking, she's a social worker here. She sees patients, she sees their sufferings, and she exactly knows what they're going through. So I want to make sure I read her question precisely. How can I learn to better bear the burdens of those I serve without myself getting overwhelmed?
That already answered, already sort of discussed. Another thing, when you committed some work, firstly, that work is really meaningful and some kind of sort of beneficial to others, then there's no reason to feel sort of discouraged. Even if it's certain sort of, some cases, years effort, but finally fail. But no regret, no reason to feel regret. You see, your work is really worthwhile. So therefore, whether you see the material, whether the result materialize or not, that's a different question. As far as the very nature of the work is really worthwhile make attempt. So really wonderful. Your sort of dedication, dedicated work for others' well-being. Wonderful, wonderful. So please carry continuously. Then deeper level, of course, the such sort of noble action, the positive sort of consequences, result, visible level also possible to come, or invisible level, certainly, you see, there is
there will be beneficial consequences to yourself too.
So wonderful. Please carry continuously your work. Yes.
Your Holiness, I have a question. You were chosen at 2 and started your studies, we understand, at 6 to become a Tibetan monk. Many of us don't know what to become. We struggle with our work and whether or not it counts, and we wonder if what we do matters. How would you advise young people to choose their life's work?
That's a very difficult question. Very difficult question. And each individual has a different mental disposition and also different environment, different sort of different sort of actually profession, background, their father, their parents. Overall, as I mentioned, we already discussed, is our education system. We educate right from the beginning about these inner values. That's, I think, universal. But then each individual case, I think there are so many varieties, so difficult to learn. So one common thing is the parent must provide maximum affection and spend more time with their children. So children right from the beginning should experience full of sort of affection. That's important. Otherwise, I don't know. You meet with 100 children, 100 different sort of wish, 100 different sort of views. How can I answer? Impossible. So here, one Buddha sort of was teaching, you are your own master. So individual future entirely depends on individual themselves. They have to utilize their mind properly and to look more holistic. Then they should choose their own life, their own way of life. That's the only way. I don't know.
Thank you.
I think we have time for one or two more questions.
One path to resilience, Your Holiness, is having a sense of control, that things are in my control. But the reality of life is things are not in control. I didn't pick my parents or my children or country of my birth or my health or health of my loved ones. So the reality is lack of control, but human mind finds peace in control. How do we bridge that gap?
I don't know. The other day in Hawaii, one student asked me about his future. And I told, future open, no guarantee. So ultimately, it depends on individuals' awareness, holistic view, and holistic approach. Then determination, wisdom. Otherwise, you see the problem bound to face, bound to happen. If you really hoping their life without a problem, it is unrealistic. Some kind of problems always happen.
Other than that, I have much to say.
I don't know. Yes?
I had a 39-year-old patient I saw with stage 4 colon cancer. She had only 3 months of life ahead of her. When we shared this program with her, she started crying and asked me, why didn't I think about it, 2 years ago or 5 years ago? Why don't we think about these principles and live by them when things are all okay? Why do we need disruption to come here?
It's partly, we neglect. It's a negligence.
Not only just individual or individual family, but whole society, like that. And that also, you see, not necessarily society, such sort of way of life created by society itself, but because of again, education.
So as a society, we have not really been successful in bringing up children with an understanding that there are both external conditions and internal conditions for happiness.
That's my view. So 놓쳐라. 되면 난 판도 주는 걸로. 야 오늘.
So it's wonderful in some ways because it's also an expression on her part of appreciating the benefits of your program.
So as she mentioned, better to start that kind of practice a few years earlier. So similarly, right from the beginning, kindergarten level, that kind of sort of teaching, that kind of sort of awareness to develop, much better. So I think hours of discussion, since now agreement, we have to pay more attention about our inner value. I think since you asked to raise hand, so those people who agree, or I think most of you I think agree, those people who disagree that, raise hand. No one. I think some materialistic sort of person, radical materialist, may raise hand, I think. Until they themselves face some problems.
Your Holiness, so true, and we've reached the end of our time. It's been very rich. I want to thank our panelists on behalf of everyone here. I want to thank you for your words of wisdom. We'll take them to heart.
So we are sort of discussing these sort of topic. It's not just a short periods of entertainment. Right. So we are really thinking or talking about this seriously about sort of the well-being of the society, well-being of modern people. So you are part of the society. We also is a part of the society. So this is something our common responsibility. Think more. If you already know, if you implement, wonderful. If you do not know, now pay more attention to these things. Then, firstly, you must share these values within your own family. Then, one family, 10 families, 100 families, 1,000 families. That is the way to change our society. So, thank you very much.
In closing, please allow me to tell a brief Mayo Clinic story that I think illustrates mindfulness, compassion, gratitude, resilience, and this never give up message. Hannah Keach, at age 10, was being treated for leukemia. And while here with her father, Troy, she came across a Mayo employee who had just received a scarf that had been blessed by His Holiness. That employee felt moved to give the scarf to young Hannah, who kept the scarf close to her as she recovered from her treatment. That gesture of kindness from His Holiness to a Mayo employee, who in turn returned the gesture to a patient, is a testament to the power of our everyday interactions. Mindfulness, compassion, gratitude, resilience, and the never give up message. Dr. Will Mayo said, as I look back on these men who influenced me so greatly, I realized their influence lay not in their craftsmanship, but in their high qualities of mind. His Holiness's principles of mindfulness, meditation, and wisdom are the highest qualities of mind, and perhaps that's why he influences so many. On behalf of Mayo Clinic and our staff, thank you to Your Holiness and the distinguished members of the panel for your participation in this enlightened discussion. We look forward to our continuing this relationship and using these lessons learned today for the benefit of our patients. Thank you all very much.
감사합니다.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
네. 가르쳐 주세요. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you much. Thank you. Thank you, Guruji. Thank you. Thank you much.